Yes, guys, week 7, my body transformation. This week, as we enter the lift, things have not really improved. Lawrence, what are you doing? Last week, the episode was all focused around injuries. I had a lower back injury 10 days ago from today. Today is Saturday in week 7. This week, the injury has got worse. I've had more lower back pain. I've had a pain in my shoulder, which I kind of feel is related to the lower back pain because my regular day-to-day movements have been jeopardized this week, which is obviously putting different muscles doing different things it's not used to doing. How are we doing? Very good, Mr. Hummus. How are you?
Mr. Hummus.
Good. I saw your story. Looking good.
Thank you, mate. You getting there?
We've got some problems.
Go on.
Serious problems.
Yeah.
It's not just lower back now. Left shoulder is buggered as well.
Who have you spoken to?
Joel. Do you know Joel? Will's
We'll
friend.
put you through, yeah.
We're curling our whole spine down, so keep your whole back against the wall, curling your whole spine down. Okay, so don't lean against the wall. Stand yourself up nice and straight. Just keep yourself nice and steady. Let the ball glide.
Essentially construct a rehab protocol for the next week.
I'm seeing a lot of progress from the front, okay? So the first thing I'm noticing, your face is actually much leaner.
Do you think that's got anything to do with the fact I've got my hair cut?
No, I'm looking at your jawline.
Yeah.
There's less of a double chin going on there, which is great.
Less of a double chin, that's the dream.
If we move down into your shoulder girdle, you definitely added some deltoids, so some side delts are up. On top of that, if we go a bit further down, the chest. So there's much more muscle development on the upper chest.
Yeah.
So more upper chest.
And I think also in terms of looking at these pictures and looking at the progress that's been made, particularly on the heavier lifts,
Yeah.
we're seeing a change in the physical sense, but also from my personal strength. We started on the barbell.
Oh, dude, yeah. So I mean, we're focusing just now on the visual changes, but I mean these are all married up with the performance changes too. So you've got so much stronger on pressing movements. Seeing some really good changes here. So again, starting from the top, we can actually see some muscle mass present in your traps now. So upper back is up. Now I know you've been struggling with some shoulder and upper back issues in the last week.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing a little bit of an imbalance. I think that's down to, I think you probably impinged something around the trap region in your left trap.
Yeah.
But upper back, I can definitely see more muscle tone. There's more thickness as well in your mid back. So just outside either side of the spine, we have the erector spinae. So I'm seeing a bit more thickness too. Do you know what? I'm seeing a bit of fat loss in your lower back, but like a lot of guys, that tends to be the last part to go, myself included, when I'm cutting down in body weight too.
Yeah.
That's the last place. And there's an expression in bodybuilding which is you're only as lean as your fattest body part. So I think like myself and the other guys, that's going to be the last part to come in, and actually that gives a hugely dramatic effect. That will impact your aesthetics completely. When that comes in, your back looks wider, your shoulders look wider, your arms look bigger, your legs look bigger, because that's what we tend to compare every body part to, is the waistline.
Okay.
So it's come down a little bit, and then your legs, from the back, your hamstrings have really thickened up, so hammies up as well. We can't forget the fact this has been 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks, mate. It's a blink of the eye, really, in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
Any progress is great progress, but I'm seeing a lot, so that's great.
Awesome. Let's go.
move
What
on.
we got next? From the side.
Now this is probably my favourite, actually. The biggest change I'm seeing here is in that medial deltoid. Okay, so the side of your shoulder, so medial delts.
Yeah.
Also your chest. So if you look here, it's almost like got a bit of a cone shape to it in the first picture, which symbolises that there was some body fat there.
Some man boob.
A little bit of man boob, yeah.
Yeah.
But now we're getting more thickness above where that point was.
Yeah.
So upper chest, as I mentioned previously, and then a massive one, and we noticed this in a few of the episodes as well when we're training, your triceps, mate. I think you've added a good inch to your arm, but not only that, there's actually muscle tone there as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't do any measurements, but I'm actually seeing what we call the horseshoe. The three heads, the tricep coming together. We can definitely see some clear. Your glutes, man, they've come up big time. So you had I'm not gonna lie, a bit of a pancake.
Yeah, say what you like, mate.
Bit of a pancake, but now 6 weeks in, I can be as abusive as I like. But yeah, so glutes are up, and then also your legs. I'll put that over here, okay? So front biceps, and this is the only one where you're actually flexing. This is probably in line with from the side, this is my favourite shot. It really highlights a lot of progress. So we can actually see evidence of your traps from the front. Now that's, there are no traps in that first one. So I can actually see your traps presenting themselves.
Yeah.
So traps from the front, that's great. You're looking really muscular in this shot. The next thing I'm seeing is your deltoids. They are popping, mate, and that tie-in into the pec. See that swoop there, that sweep there from the top of the shoulder right there down into the lower chest?
Yeah.
So chest and shoulders in that pose are up big time. You look muscular in that shot. You really do, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And then the big one here is your arms.
No, we almost needed to get a different lens to fit me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a macro lens in the first one. Now I need a wide angle.
I'm joking, of course, I'm joking. And I think looking at that myself, that's my favourite picture because that's the one that I can clearly see that there's a before which isn't as good as the after.
Yeah.
Which is progress, and that's
absolutely. And
that's the key.
And there's more to touch on that too. So that taper, so your lats are popping more. Okay, so that V taper. And then finally, your midsection too. So we're seeing a little bit more of that rib cage outline, and then your legs. Now you don't actually you should be flexing your legs in that pose.
But I'm not.
You're not, no, I can see they're relaxed. I can see that the vastus groups are just hanging gently over the kneecap. If you were really flexing, straight out those legs hard, those quads would pop a lot more. We have to remind ourselves, this is 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's a ridiculous amount of progress. And I also want to remind you of that scrambling eggs analogy.
Yeah.
So in a body transformation, when you're losing body fat, the biggest changes happen in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because all we're doing is minimizing body fat. And if it started at 1 inch, you're not going to see much difference after half an inch is gone. But when we start getting into those lower recesses in the last few millimeters, that's when we start to see loads of detail coming through. So it can almost feel like, remember in the first couple of weeks you were thinking, I feel like I look worse.
Yeah.
And we explain about how, glycogen depletion, water retention will make you look worse, even though you are making progress.
Yeah.
In these next 6 weeks, I know you've got your injuries to deal with, but we're going to work around that.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better. And I want you to...
It's fine.
I want you to really, take confidence from this. This is a clear visual representation. We talked about it in one of our...
podcasts.
In one of the podcasts.
Cool, so this week has been a bit different. There's not been any gym footage, and obviously this is a fitness gym working out kind of series. So I thought, obviously as we've done something a bit different, it's best to get as many of your questions about the series answered as we possibly can this week whilst Julian is still here with me. Some of these questions are directed towards Julian, some of them are directed towards me. A lot of them we could probably answer together. Foods to eat during training. So I've been snacking on those protein bars when I need a little energy kick.
People, first and foremost, you need energy when you're training.
Absolutely.
Right? Your sessions will not be productive if you are hungry or feeling low on energy. So nutrient timing around training is critical. Now, in terms of the nutrients that you do get, a lot of people favour eating fairly fast digested carbohydrates.
Yep.
Immediately prior, during, and immediately after. And the reason being is it's the most easily utilised energy source, but also sugars spike insulin. Insulin is the most anabolic hormone present in the human body, and it's very difficult to generate muscle tissue in what's normally a catabolic environment when you've got carbohydrate intake. So it's a good time to consume carbohydrates is during training.
Boom.
The next thing is protein, all right? And again, this aids with anabolism, so the building of muscle tissue. When we're training, we're breaking it down, but we want to be starting that reparation kind of process as quickly as possible. So there's that whole debate of when to eat protein. The studies suggest that it's best to eat protein before training because then it's not just in the digestive tract, but it's also then into the bloodstream and it's ready to go with beginning the reparation process.
Yeah.
So as soon as you finish, there is flowing protein in the body. Okay.
In the bod.
We'll roll with that.
At what moment did you decide to commit to the transformation? This man got in touch with me when I put out a podcast at the beginning of the year, basically saying that I was really, really keen to stop faffing around and not getting anywhere with my fitness. So you got in touch, We had a nice little coffee at a place called Kahila Cafe in Shoreditch, and Monday we started. That was it.
There was immediate action.
Friday we met for a coffee, Monday we started training and you were here in London.
Yeah.
Boom. How do you stay motivated? Best example of this is when we were doing a few band exercises in here, because I've not been able to train in the gym again today because I've got a shoulder issue now, as well as my lower back. I was angry, physically, I wanted to break something. I even said, I literally am so angry.
Go on, don't worry about it.
I literally just want to fight someone right now.
It's work, it's fine.
Pissing me off.
So that's that one.
It's like when you get to a train and the train starts pulling off just as you arrive. You technically made it because the train is still there in front of you, but you know you can't get on the train. It's exactly the same as this. I know I've made a lot of progress and I want to keep going, but I know that I can't just jump on and hold on because I'm going to fall off. And
That's me every day getting a train.
That's you getting up here.
Yeah.
But the way I stay motivated was looking through the progress I've made in these pictures. That is how I stay motivated, knowing that I have made some serious progress in the process and knowing that sometimes injuries happen and it's beyond my control, in my power right now. So just letting it be, doing the best I can to work around it is the best way to stay motivated for the long course.
Not least after having a little bit of hissy fit.
I am 16 years old. Can I follow this program as well?
I started training when I was 15. There is a bit of conflict, at least in like what is believed by the population, as to when you can start weight training. My argument is people get concerned about like joint compression and like fusing growth plates and that kind of thing, and being like under certain loads which aren't good for a developing body. If you're safe, I think the real challenge is, are you going to be of maturity level to be sensible and not overdo it?
Discipline, yeah.
So, you know, if you're a disciplined individual at 16 and you know that you can take the time to learn the moves correctly and safely, then you'll be absolutely fine, in my opinion. Now that's down to you to take action on, but in my opinion, it's okay.
This series was supposed to document every single week all of those different changes. So I think if there is anything that you really want to know, what we've already covered and the value we've given, I think, in the episodes leading up to this one will answer a lot more questions that may arise. But as always, let me know in the comments if there's anything that you're unsure about. And Julian does a little scour of the comments as well. In every episode, we can answer your questions down below. Anyway, we've been down on the floor today for the majority of it. We've been looking through all of the picks. This is what you guys have been asking for. And obviously this is a 12-week body transformation. So this is at the halfway point. And during week 6 as well, injuries have inhibited me a little bit, which has not been great. But as we said in the injuries episode last week, if you haven't seen that, definitely go and check it out. These things happen. And once you've gone from, well, I've gone from not really doing any kind of exercise whatsoever to all of this, which is kind of intense. You would say that's a good thing to say.
Like camping.
Like camping. It's bound to put extra stresses on my body, which is probably why I've picked up this injury along the way. Anyway, that wraps up this episode. If you have taken anything from this, obviously go over to this man's page. He's got a brand new flipping gym. If you're from the Newbury area, you're gonna wanna get signed up to Team Titanium in particular, just to get access to the gym.
Yeah, man, so it's less of a gym, more of like a studio, private studio, but what I wanna do is build a culture of people who are results driven.
Absolutely.
So you'll only be surrounded by people who actually want to achieve
am I welcome?
You are absolutely welcome. To achieve an outcome. Whereas in a gym you get the full mishmash of what people want, you know, stress relief, or it's all fair, you know, but this is all about performance and outcome.
And if people aren't lucky enough to live in the wonderful town of Newbury, why should they sign up for Team Titanium?
Lots of reasons. So on Team Titanium you can get access to monthly plans, you get correspondence with myself and the team members, and I'm actually putting up daily coaching videos now as well. So it's basically a PT in your pocket for the price of a protein bar a week.
Couldn't have sold it any better myself. Thank you guys for watching. This is a weird angle. I don't know if I like looking up at cameras like this.
I reckon we're gonna look horrific.
It's not going to be the best. Nonetheless, it's been a good one. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you do. Buzzing to get back in the gym now. Obviously, injuries aside, we're going to have to work around that. You'll see next week how we get on. I'll catch you all later. And I'm not even going to try and reach for the camera because I'll probably pop another muscle out of place. Goodbye.